Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the Brothers Win podcast. My name is Ian, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and co-host Matthew. Matthew, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Ian. How you doing?
I'm tired. I'm sluggish, if I were to put it in a word, you know?
Yeah.
So if I told Matthew this, and if you're not aware, I just got I don't know why you would be aware unless you're like a couple people, but I got the second shot of my COVID vaccine, which I'm very excited about. I got it yesterday, around like 9 in the morning. So for reference, that's like 36 hours ago. And I'm so tired. I feel like like I woke up this morning. So I'm a substitute teacher, if you haven't been listening to our old episodes. And I told my boss, who's the assistant principal, I'm like, hey, like I might be out tomorrow, or I have the COVID vaccine, just letting you know in case I need to be out tomorrow. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to feel bad. Like, I feel fine, right? I felt fine all yesterday. I'm like, I'm going to be okay. My arm, like the vaccine arm, I got the shot and it was kind of like sore when I lifted it. But I mean, like, not a big deal. She's like, okay, we have coverage for it in case you need it, but you can come in too if you want to. I'm like, okay, great. Probably be in, but we'll see. And I wake up this morning at like 5:50. And I felt like I had gotten hit by a car yesterday. I was so sore. Like, I went to like lift my right arm, which I didn't get the vaccine in. I got it in the left arm, but I went to lift my right arm to grab my phone and look at the time, and it felt like I was made of like old trees, like branches. I was like
rooted in the ground.
I really like felt like I shouldn't be moving, you know, like my back has been killing me all day. Like if I slouch a little bit, it feels like my back is like pulling at each. Like it's been so sore all day. But hopefully it's all for the best, and it goes away tomorrow, and I don't have to deal with COVID. Never got COVID. Hopefully this doesn't. Yeah. It's effective and I don't get COVID. But I mean, oh man, I was like, I'll be fine. Like, and like they said that it hurts like more if you have a good like immune system. They're like, yeah, if you have a good immune system, it might take a bit to like kick in, or like it might be the side effects might be a bit more harsh. I'm like, I have a good immune system, but I mean, I don't think I'm gonna worry about the side effects. And did I have to worry about the side effects? I was literally like, I cannot come into like I don't know if I can get out of bed. Honestly, I felt like I feel like I'm over exaggerating, but it was really bad this morning, and I had a headache too. But I mean,
yeah, I haven't gotten my COVID vaccine yet. I did, in some news, get it scheduled though.
That's cool. When you're going?
Oh, I forget, like the 13th, I think.
Today's the 8th, by the way, in case you're listening.
Yeah. I had to set it up for a little bit later of a day because they had the Johnson & Johnson one available, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. That one's scary. That one's honestly scary. I don't like that one.
I can just wait a little bit and get the 2 shots. But I haven't really heard of anyone who's had like super problems. So this is like the first person I've talked to.
I guess it does mean
the side effects. Yeah.
I guess it means I have a good immune system, because they did say it would hurt a lot if you had a good immune system. Because one time Emma got like strep over the summer. It was strep. They tested her and it was strep, not COVID. But yeah. I was with her for like 4 days while she had it, and like we didn't know. And then she went away like on like a vacation, and she's like, I think I'll be okay. And she was terrible. She's like the most sick she'd ever been in her life. She felt terrible, and I did not get sick. She's like, I literally have no idea how you didn't get sick. Like, I really don't know either. So I just chalk it up to having a good immune system. So I'm like, that might not be good. And like my back was killing me all day today. It's still not great right now, but it's getting better. Yeah. But I'm very tired. So
yeah, I don't get sick often, but when I do get sick, it's usually like the worst sickness you've ever had. Like,
and have you heard like the argument that like I'm not trying to like chalk this up to all women, but like women like to like say that men like are wimps when it comes to sickness, which may be true, but have you heard that complaint, that thing before?
Never.
Oh, really? You haven't? I feel like that's something that people hear. I've heard that like women say that like men take sicknesses poorly, like they're like not worse. But I think there's been studies done where sicknesses actually affect men more, like they make it like they're more painful. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I could be making that up. But
all I know is that the sicknesses and the times that I've been sick have been the worst, most miserable times of my life. Like, I don't just have a stomach bug ever. Like, if I ever throw up, it's either I throw up once and it was just like a weird thing, or I'm throwing up the entire week and I am done for and not coming back. Like, the most recent sickness I had was 3 years ago that I can remember. And I had acute bronchitis, tonsillitis.
I remember that.
A couple of other things, almost an ear infection, I think. And it literally just felt like my head was about to explode. Like there was so much pressure in my head, and it was just unbearable. And I lived with that for a week, telling my mom like every day, like I think I should probably get this checked out. I should probably go to the doctor. She's like, I don't know. It's like, it's up to you. I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't know if I should go. Like, is it that serious? For an entire week, just live with it. Then I finally went because it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, all right, I got to go.
I might die.
And then, they gave me a pamphlet full of things, just like the disease
funeral
at the
homes.
top. Yeah. Openings of funeral homes.
Nice caskets to look into.
Yeah.
Headrests. Headstones. Yeah, not headrests.
Yeah, I almost said headrest, and I was like, it's not a headrest.
Like in cars, yeah.
They wanted me to be comfortable. But no.
Safety is our number one priority on your way home from here. So.
But they gave me a big pamphlet full of stapled papers. It was about like 7 or 8 different things I had that were just described on each page. I just flipped it over and it was like tonsillitis. Here's what it is. Bronchitis. Here's what it is. Like
we almost ran out of ink trying to get the papers for you. Can we text you this or email it to you? Like we're trying to be environmentally conscious here, and you had a lot of things.
I was on 3 different steroids at the same time because of how bad it was. They were like, you got to take all of these at the same time, and I took all of them the first day. Like, all the recommended doses the first day. And then the next day, I took, like, half. And then the next day, I didn't take any because I was fine. Mm-hmm. But there were still, like, 7 other days I was supposed to take them. I still have the medication in one of my book bags. Like,
I wouldn't take those.
It's still there. I would not take them either because they're probably useless.
They're probably expired and might hurt you.
I get acute bronchitis again, then
I probably still wouldn't take those. They might be expired.
No, I'd probably go back to the doctor.
One good thing about do you have anything else to say about that? I don't want to cut you off. But
that was pretty much it. It was just a fun story.
One good thing about all the mask wearing I've noticed, like you talking about getting like real sick. I haven't gotten sick at all this pandemic. Like I've had some allergies, but I mean like overall I've been completely fine. And I'm like maybe we should because I know in like Asian cultures they do it a lot where they'll wear masks if they have symptoms of something, like if they're coughing so they don't spread it. Not everyone does, but this was before the pandemic. And I was like, maybe that's a good idea because, like, I mean, you think we're just coughing and rubbing our hands over everything and just sneezing on people.
I think I might do it.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I mean,
that's the first thing I thought about. Like 2 weeks into it, I'm like, well, when this is all over, maybe we'll start to wear masks when we have diseases like Japan does and stuff like that. It's like, that's a cool idea. It's smart. It's only smart. That's what it is.
Yeah, and now we see people won't wear masks if there's a deadly pandemic happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. Anyway, also, one more thing I wanted to mention. You talking about how like if you get sick, like real bad. Yeah. You remember when you were young and there were 2 things that made you throw up. You threw up a good bit as a child. Yeah. 2 things made you throw up when you got nervous/excited. Like we went to Disney World and you had the buffet the night before.
I don't think that was nervous or excitement. Everyone says that, like they're like, oh, that's when you get excited or whatever when you were a kid and you throw up.
But that buffet the night before was bad. Yeah, I think it was a mix.
It was the creamed corn from that buffet. I remember it. I was 5 years old and I remember.
But we saw the big Epcot ball, and you're just like in the rental minivans. That's what I see.
I wasn't excited for Epcot. I looked for roller coasters that day. I was like, what do they have? And I couldn't find like any good ones that I wanted to go on. I didn't even know Test Track was a ride, and I was like, it's just food, and I'm like, that's it. I'm like, what are we doing here then?
Yeah, Disney World we should have that conversation one time that Disney World sucks, like Loki.
Disney World it's
an experience.
Fun because there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like the percentage is there's a larger percent of boring things at Disney World.
I'd say it depends on what you're into, but I don't get the people that had Buzz sighting at
Buzz
about 9 minutes. He's like, y'all recording a podcast? Oh, he's a mainstay. Go look on YouTube if you want to see some Buzz. About 9 minutes in, I'd say. He's so cute. Yeah, but Disney World's for another day. I think we should talk about. But so you get nervous or excited. Like it was Christmas morning and like holiday mornings, you'd also throw up a lot, and then you'd always swallow water when you swam. So if we went swimming in like a lake, you would just like guzzle water by accident because you didn't swim well, and then the next day you'd just be puking your brains out, and we'd be like, oh my gosh, he needs to learn how to swim. This boy
straight up water poisoning. I don't even know. it was bad.
Yeah,
every time I swim.
This is a fun preamble. I like that we're just kind of going off about COVID vaccines. Anyway, so let's go ahead and transition into the topic for the day. It's gonna be a sports one. So if you don't love sports, sorry, but I think this is one that you can kind of get into. It's basically knowing the bare minimum about sports, if you know things about that. So my kind of argument, we're kind of going back to the main argument kind of thing, is that Muhammad Ali is the only GOAT in sports that would still be the best in his sport like today if he were to like in his prime travel to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like 60. Yeah, like if he was like in his prime. Yeah. So, do you have any initial thoughts on that? We'll get into it more, obviously.
Yeah, but initial thoughts are boxing isn't the greatest sport. Is the only thing is that it's like he was great, and I've watched some of his fights. I've seen a lot of fights from a lot of people.
Yeah.
But straight up, it depends on like weight class and stuff like that. Because if you're talking like his weight class,
he's heavyweight. Yeah. He was heavyweight champion.
There's a good chance that he stays. But like, is there a thing above heavyweight in boxing? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I don't watch much boxing, so that's kind of, we'll talk about this in a sec. But let me talk about what a GOAT is first, in case people don't know. GOAT stands for Greatest of All Time. It's an acronym, GOAT, Greatest of All Time. And I want to argue about the meaning of a GOAT. So I mean, obviously it means Greatest of All Time, but I think it's been ruined. Another mini rant / hot topic.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it.
Is that the term GOAT has been ruined by sports social media pages. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with that, because you'll just be on like Instagram scrolling through and you'll see ESPN or SportsCenter posts like, who's the GOAT like place kicker in the NFL or the GOAT rebounder in the NBA.
And then they say Allen Iverson. You go, what?
Yeah, he doesn't place kick, no. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's like, that's a different sport, ESPN. I thought you knew this. I thought you were the worldwide leader in this. Anyway, they'll say stupid things like the GOAT rebounder is kind of the thing. And it's like, do you mean the best rebounder? Because, like, why would you call them the greatest of all time rebounder? Like, the greatest of all time, I think, should be reserved for, like, the best person who had ever played that sport. Yeah. I find differentiating between sports, because that's a broad thing, and you could use it for other things that aren't sports. But, like, I mean, it's generally used in that term. But, like, people are like, who's the greatest of all time? Like, left tackle, and it's like, I mean,
it's like, well, who's the best left tackle?
You could just say who's the best, or like who did this the best. Like there's probably not one overarching. Like the GOAT is very all encompassing, you know. Like it's like he did defense great. He was a great scorer. He was, you know, I don't know. He's just the best at what he did. Like no one can say that he was better or worse than, you know, a different guy. And I just think that sports like social media pages has really just taken a dive on that in a sense. So yeah, I just really wanted to get into that, and it takes away the gravity of it. So so I guess we should start by talking about whether you think Ali is the best boxer of all time, because that's kind of, if you don't believe that, then you really have trouble I guess debating this. So I'll be straight up and say that I never really watched boxing, and I never really watched Ali fight except for some clips online. That just randomly pop up on YouTube. We talked about that before, like the rabbit hole you get down on. Mm-hmm. So I looked up some reasons why he might be the GOAT. Like boxing websites have stuff on this. A lot of people have stuff on this. So his speed. Have you seen that clip of him where he's dodging punches like a lot? Like he's like bobbing and weaving and like circling around, and he's like shimmying. Like it's sick. He is insane at that. And his size too. He was heavyweight. Like he was a big boy. He wasn't just
tall.
Like,
he's tall and lanky.
Tall, strong.
He's not,
yeah.
He was strong as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So his speed is just like something to be like, ooh, wow, at his size. Another thing that I saw is that he traveled around the world to fight, which when they call you a world champion, like in boxing, and like they call you world champion, usually like they would stay in Las Vegas and fight people coming to them.
Yeah.
Like Ali went to like Switzerland and Asia, and he like fought people in the other parts of the world to truly be the world champion. So I think that's pretty sick.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. I think I don't want to like lie, so I'm going to say that I don't know 100% about this. I didn't do too much research on him, but he took 3.5 years off, I think, because he became like a member of he like studied Islam and stuff like that, and he didn't want to join the draft for the Vietnam War because of that. Like he like had wanted to make peace or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. So he protested the Vietnam War, and like the U.S. government like didn't want him to fight and all that, so he didn't fight for like 3.5 years. And he came back and he was still great. Like he came back and was still at the peak of his game, you know. And just another thing I think is cool is that he was he was open. He let people come to his gym, and he would like talk to interviews. Like they said, he never turned down an interview, and he was just really a good guy. So that's cool. But it doesn't mean
he always seemed like a good guy. Like pretty much every video I've seen of him.
Yeah. So other options for like the boxing GOAT include Mike Tyson, Joe Frazier, Floyd Mayweather. You know, people like that. I don't know.
I think Tyson Fury's he's very new. Personally, I love Tyson Fury. I think
wasn't he in MMA before?
I don't think so. He may have been.
I could be wrong. I
just
don't
know
know.
his boxing
I don't watch
career.
boxing now, so.
I don't think he was. If I had to guess.
Okay.
I've watched a bunch of podcasts with him and learned about his life. His life is super interesting. Like,
oh yeah.
I won't get too much into it, but basically he was like on the verge of suicide one day, and then he had like a voice in his head tell him like stop, and he came back and lost all his weight and just like started. I mean, he had a lot of extra weight at the time.
Oh yeah.
But he lost all his weight and started fighting again, and just like he's pounding people now. Like he is long, huge, insanely large, like 7 foot large.
Oh.
Big reach. Just I think he could take Muhammad Ali just because of his size. Like
that's fair.
He is extremely long.
Yeah.
And long. One hit.
Boxing is the thing where it's like you have to do weight classes. Like same with MMA. Like I mean, like you'd be like he's the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time, but I mean like is Tyson Fury still heavyweight, or is there a class above, or like does that be a fair fight? I don't know. Yeah. So do you have any like? I mean, would you like argue with me though that Ali is not the GOAT? Like I mean, like you can if you want to, but I don't think that's the point.
I think
the more point is about like the boxing GOAT. If, like you could be like it could be Tyson, it could be Ali.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, Tyson Fury exists now, which we'll talk about later.
So is your classification of greatest of all time that he could beat anyone in his prime?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when it comes to boxing, the GOAT, I guess you could say like most accomplished, like. I guess it could be anyone in his time. I don't know. It's tough to define because I don't watch enough boxing.
Yeah, because beating anyone in his time, in his like prime, I don't know if he would beat everyone in his prime.
Okay.
I think Mike Tyson would have a decent chance just because of how small he was.
Yeah.
And how, but the only reason I would say Mike Tyson isn't better than him is because at the end of Mike Tyson's career when he lost to, I forget. Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Not Holyfield. He bet Holyfield's
he was tall.
Off, right? Was that the guy he wasn't
Holyfield.
supposed to lose to? Like
Huh?
He was like an underdog, the guy that beat him, right? Like a super big underdog, or am I wrong about that? Didn't Tyson get beat by a huge underdog?
Well, I'm sure he was at the time, whoever it was. I forget. But
could imagine, but
because Mike had won like every fight up until that point.
Iron Mike Tyson.
But the guy who beat him, I remember he specifically was super tall and lanky. Like he was built like Tyson Fury, like Muhammad Ali type shit.
Yeah.
Type stuff. Sorry.
It's okay.
No need to cuss.
No need.
On this podcast.
Yeah.
But
family friendly
podcast.
Cover your kids' ears there.
About boxing.
About, beating people up.
Senseless.
Kids love that. Yeah, senseless
who could
violence.
win in a fight.
Yeah. Time traveling boxing.
But yeah, I think Mike Tyson would probably lose against Muhammad Ali in a fight in their primes.
Tyson Fury might beat Ali is what you're thinking too.
Possibly. But it's more of like
it'd be close
though,
don't you think?
Out at that point. What?
It'd be close though, I would imagine, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Muhammad Ali would still have the over on him, or the spread.
Yeah, I get that. So the reason I'm talking about like Ali being the GOAT, like even though I don't watch that much boxing, is like I'm pretty convinced that it's one of the only sports, or at least the like really like athletic, like you could argue golf, which we might later, but like athletic, like spectacle, like raw strength and speed and power sport that you could take the GOAT from the 60s and he would still be probably the GOAT right now. Like, so we'll go through a couple of examples and you'll probably agree with me. Go ahead. What you got?
Before that, the only thing is that like some sports don't translate as well over time.
Yeah.
Boxing's the only sport that translates over time because nothing's changed.
Yeah, like the people might get stronger, the people might get faster, but like I mean,
defense is different. That's it.
How much stronger, faster can you get at boxing is kind of the thing, Like there's like so much technical skill in like football. Like the best wide receiver of all time, like it's probably like you see the wide receivers playing in like the 30s in football. They're like
you can't even count them.
Like that's mailmen, they're just like running around with leather caps on, running like 5.3 40s, like they're not but like boxing,
they're just out there.
Yeah, exactly. But the boxing, like I mean, I think I agree with you in the sense that it's like the sport where it probably translates best. Yeah, so that's what I'm arguing, kind of. Like, I'm not saying we're gonna go through a couple of GOATs in their respective sports. I'm not saying these people were bad, and I'm not saying that like they weren't the best, and I agree that they're the GOAT. I put them on this list, but I'm just arguing that because of the way their sports evolve, like boxing is probably the only physical sport like that where the GOAT back then would be the GOAT now, probably.
Yeah, we'll discuss more.
Yeah, let's go. I feel like I'm talking in circles here, and I don't want to do that. So let's get moving on, okay? So the best example I have is baseball. Who would you say is the GOAT in baseball? Like, just think, we don't watch a lot of baseball, but like, who do people say the GOAT is? Do you think? Like, I mean,
oh, I don't know.
I can tell you if you want to, but I thought you might know.
No, like, I mean, I'm sure when you say it, or Alex Rodriguez,
Rodriguez? No, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Okay.
Babe Ruth is argued as.
But yeah, it's another thing of like translation. Like.
So yeah, that's the kind of the thing.
Game's
so, like,
different.
There are a couple other names.
Different.
Yeah, there are a couple other names you could say, like Willie Mays, like Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio. Not a huge baseball guy, but like those are names I like. Oh yeah, they play baseball. So
yeah, I've heard of them. That's the thing. Like I've never sought out to watch them or know.
Also, speaking about how stupid the GOAT debate is, I went on this website that was like, it was like the top 9 GOATs of all time, and it had 4 people from baseball on that top 9, and like 2 or 3 people from football, and like Mike, MJ, and LeBron. It was like 3 sports, and the Wayne Gretzky. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, that's not what a GOAT is. Like, greatest of all time. You don't have 5 different GOATs in baseball, but like they were all on that list. Babe Ruth was the highest on there, and that's why I was like, that's who I thought of right away too.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't even think outside of modern day. Like, I was like, Albert Pujols. I don't know who they think.
Yeah, you're like 2000. Didn't baseball start in like 2001, right?
In my mind, it did.
Yeah.
That's when I was born. So
Barry Bonds would probably be the answer then, right? If you're okay with steroids.
Yeah, Barry Bonds would be a closer one.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Barry Bonds was sick. From what I remember.
But even then, like, I've never seen Barry Bonds. Like, I never remember Barry Bonds playing.
I remember his late career when he was just like hitting bombs, dude. He was great. Anyway, so some stats about Babe Ruth. He's the all-time leader in slugging percentage and OPS percentage, which is like on-base percentage plus slugging. Yeah. He's second in RBI. This is all-time RBI and on-base percentage. He was also a pitcher, and apparently he was really good. Like, in the World Series, he was like 3-0 and was like .87 ERA, which is pretty good. And he appeared in 10 World Series and won 7. He was very good. He pitched and he hit, which is like, and if you do both really well, that's great. Like, you see pitchers now, they're like really great at pitching, and then they'll have to go in and hit, and they're like usually .197 like batting average. It's like, okay, like we're not expecting you to do anything here, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is impressive. Like, I'm sure people have had insanely impressive careers in baseball that I don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, who cares, honestly? But
yeah, it's like baseball is kind of a non-sport anyway.
if all the people who listen to this show were baseball fans and they didn't already leave after we said everyone should do steroids, like, I mean, this might put it over the top. So
just ragging on every sports episode we do, baseball comes up. Even the Airbud episode wasn't even a sports episode.
Yeah, and we're just like, gosh, I can't believe Airbud lowered himself to play baseball. I can't believe a dog played baseball.
I can't believe people watch that.
Dude, they get crazy contracts in baseball. Do you see like that one Mets guy? I think Lindor got paid like, he was upset about 10 years, like $321 million, and he wanted like 10 years, 364, and they settled on like 10, like 340. I'm like, my gosh, he's getting paid $34 million a year. That's insane. Like, baseball.
I've seen like back in the day when NFL players were getting contracts, like Joe Flacco was the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Oh God, I don't want to think about it.
And you start looking
a dark era
at like, highest paid sports players of all time. It's all baseball, like baseball, and I think soccer, and I think that's it.
Soccer's like, crazy. Like Ronaldo,
soccer,
and Messi. They make a lot of money off endorsements too. Like, I mean,
if you are a superstar in soccer, you are a superstar, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Because you have to do something extra to be good at soccer.
Because like, you're competing with everyone in the world. I mean, like, you could say that with baseball, like people in Japan, Dominican Republic, and all that. But everyone in the world plays soccer. Like American football, you're competing against America, maybe Canada, now some UK a bit, but like it's like you're competing against America pretty much. If you play soccer and you're the best at soccer, like Ronaldo, like that's insane. Like, good on you. Good, like you're great.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
It's also the sport of soccer. It's like it's impressive just for somebody to be like that good at soccer.
Yeah. Like running and kicking a ball that hard. Like, I mean, like
what are you doing extra? Like,
how are you that much better than that guy who also runs fast and kicks the ball hard? So. Yeah. Anyway, and like the technical
But that's a very shallow interpretation of what soccer is.
It's a beautiful game.
Neither of us really watch soccer that much.
Dude, whoever was in charge of baseball's marketing campaign in like the early like 1930s to like label it as America's game, like, good on them. Because like,
it's the only way it's surviving. Right now.
I don't get that, man. Anyway, I'm also convinced like about Babe Ruth. Like, if you put him in today's league, he probably doesn't even make a minor league team. Like, I don't think he does. I don't know how, like, so
I don't know.
my main I don't know either because I don't know what the minimum requirement to be on a baseball team is. Like the thing about like the MLB like draft is that like they have like 47 rounds of the MLB draft. Like, have you ever seen that before?
No,
I
didn't even. Like, honestly, I couldn't even tell you that they had a draft.
Yeah, you finish college baseball.
I thought they just picked up people off their minor teams and they're like, yeah, here we go.
How do people get on the minor teams, Matthew? They just find people on the street. Going. They're like, yeah, he's not that good.
Just cycle him through.
Yeah, but they have like 47 drafts. Because I saw this like thing on SportsCenter or like on like Twitter, and it was like, famous NFL players and like where they got drafted in the like MLB draft because they got you can get drafted in the MLB draft, so they just take flyers on you like if you're like in the 30 like it's like the 33rd round. I gotta send this to you because like it said like Patrick Mahomes got taken in like the 47th round by like the Oakland A's. I'm like, what?
He did?
Yeah.
What? You can so just take people, just like pick people.
I guess like off the street, like you better pray to someone get drafted by like the Orioles like tomorrow. Like it's like, oh, you got picked in the 52nd round. Report to single A team tomorrow. Yeah. It's like what? What? Me?
You get like a message in the mail. It's just like so frequent.
It's like getting drafted by like into war. You're like, oh, jeez.
The neighbor just got drafted to the Orioles today.
Oh, poor guy. I'll light a candle for him today.
Oh, he's got to play baseball. Sorry.
Oh, poor guy. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, but like. Dude, Babe Ruth, like, he's notorious for being, like, kind of, like, pudgy and overweight. Like, sorry, Babe Ruth, like, and his family, if they listen right now. But, like he would eat, like, candy bars and, like steaks before a game and then just, like, hit, like, 5 home runs and, like, call it a day. But, like, pitchers throw, like, 105 miles an hour today. Like, back then, they were throwing, like, 80 miles an hour max. Like,
that makes sense.
If you put Babe Ruth on a mound today and have like Chapman or whatever, the guy who throws like 105 mile an hour fastball towards him, Babe Ruth would probably put the bat down and walk away and be like, that no.
I think he might be able to hit it more, but his pitching skills would just be like, non-existent. I don't know enough.
Wait, his pitching or his hitting skills? I think his hitting skills.
His pitching skills would be worse.
Dude, if you throw the ball 25 miles an hour faster.
But like you can get used to that.
Put Babe Ruth in a time machine and you ship him to the 2021 Yankees and you put him up there on the plate, leadoff hitter, and 105 mile an hour. This pitcher's fresh and he launches a 105 mile an hour baseball by him. Do you think Babe Ruth can even blink before that ball flies by his head? Do you think he's like, oh,
I think he would be thrown off on like the first pitch, but I think he could. He'd
probably be super racist too, which is another thing against him.
It's an unfortunate side effect of the times.
What are they doing out here? Yeah, that didn't happen. He was 1920s, man. He's probably real confused. He's like, what? Yeah, no, that's me. And I'm not gonna joke about that. But anyway, I think Babe Ruth would be terrible if you put him in the league today.
I that's like that.
That's the most extreme example. I don't think any other goats that on this list are like people that wouldn't make even the league. But I'm pretty convinced Babe Ruth wouldn't make it onto a team. I think a high school player would probably be better than Babe Ruth is, like a current high school player. Like, but another example of like not extreme, but like pretty obvious would be Wayne Gretzky. In hockey, if you're not aware, and he's obviously the GOAT. There's no debate. Like in baseball, like you can't argue that Wayne Gretzky isn't the best hockey player that ever existed, at least at his time.
Even if you did, like, who would be second?
Yeah, like. I don't know, Mario Lemieux.
He's pretty, like, if we're talking points.
He's good.
Like, if we're looking at points, too, like, he's not even close. Goals scored, like.
There's some crazy stats about. Can I share some stats about Wayne Gretzky? Because I was losing my mind today. There's the one that I tell you a lot about, which is that in, like, the 90s, he was so good that when people played fantasy hockey, they had to make him into two people, like, how many assists he had and how many goals he had, because whoever drafted Wayne Gretzky in fantasy hockey won, just instantly, because he scored so many points. Let's do some other things. He won the scoring title by more than 70 points 6 different times in his career. So if you don't know in hockey, you get a point for a goal and you get a point for an assist. Like that's a personal points for you. Like, and like the most you'll score like in the is like 100. Like the guy who wins the scoring title in the NHL usually scores about 100. Like you'd say, he won the scoring title by more than 70 points 6 times. That's how many points he scored. A couple more. Let's see. If Gretzky never scored a goal, he would have still had 11 straight 100-point seasons and 4 scoring titles.
Yeah, that's insane.
Sorry, a couple more.
Continue,
Unless you want to talk about that specific stat.
Yes. There are... Huh? No.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Gretzky won 8 consecutive MVPs. No one has ever won more than 4 in any of the other 4 major sports in America. And Gretzky is the only player to record a 200-point season, and he did it 4 times. That's insane. That is like no other player had ever done it before, and he did it 4 times. That's so cool. Like he's a baller. Wayne Gretzky's great.
He's insane. Yeah. There's really no arguing that he's not insane at what he does, but there is the age-old argument of him not being able to lift the puck off the ground.
That's exactly where I was going. Yeah. So Gretzky, no, he could I think he could lift the puck off the ground, but the goalies never had to defend against someone who could lift the puck off the ground. So, like, the thing about goalies in, like, early hockey is, like, right before the 80s, they would, like, stand up. Like, so Gretzky started playing in 79. Goalies used to play without a mask, and they would stand, like, a little bit bow-legged, but stand straight up with their legs apart. Like, because no one could lift the puck. They would just stand straight up, and they would just drop down if they needed to, because they weren't flexible. They're just dudes out there that can catch really well, but the puck wouldn't go near their face, so they didn't have to worry about it because the sticks were wood and no one could lift the puck. And they started curving the sticks. Around the same time, the goalies started to get flexible enough to where they could be in the butterfly position to block with their legs, like in a split. So like their pads were blocking the goal from pucks just sliding between their legs. I think this was called the dead puck era. I'm not sure. No, that's when the goalies started getting better. I'm not sure. Anyway, so Gretzky came in right around the time goalies started doing the butterfly position.
Yeah.
So these goalies are just learning how to do this. They're like, oh my gosh, like this new Russian kid came in and he can play on butterfly. I need to learn how to do it. So these goalies are learning to like play in that new position. And Gretzky is lifting the puck. And they're like, what? Like I thought we just had to cover like the base, the baseline. They're just sliding pucks through our legs the whole time. Gretzky's lifting the puck, and they're all like, what in the world? Like, stopping that. So if you take Gretzky now and put him in 2021 hockey, the goalies now are like Russian acrobats, dude. Like, they're insane. They're the stretchiest people I've ever seen. They wear like 50 pounds of pads, and they're doing like butterflies and sliding back and forth between the net. Like, if you just watch a goalie warm up, like, you'll be like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Compared to what they look,
pretty insane.
You'll look at like a goalie card from, or like even like old film of hockey from the 70s, and you're like, oh my gosh, they could put like 2 wooden boards out there, and it might be better than that man in the net right now. Yeah. Like, honestly, if he laid a 2x4 on its side in front of the goal, I think that might be better than having a man stand in front of it in the 70s.
Lay like a 1-inch tall piece of wood,
and you'd
just
be fine,
to like
honestly.
Stop the puck, and that's it. You'll be fine.
And you're a fine goalie at that point.
You're a fine goaltender.
So you put Gretzky. I think Gretzky would be fine. I think he would he'd pass well. He'd be a good skater. He was fast. I think he'd be fine.
I think he'd be in the top 5 current right now.
He'd be top 10 for sure. I think he'd be a top 10 player, but I don't think he would be the best like of all time. He'd be like, I think Sidney Crosby would be considered greater than he was like right now. So
I don't know.
Or Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid would completely overshadow Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, but I could still see him doing very well. Like, even his assists, like, straight up, you put him on a team and he only passes like Nicholas Backstrom on the Cavs.
Yeah.
And he only gets assists. Who cares?
He probably would be. He'd probably be Nicholas Backstrom level. Probably a little bit better, I'd say.
Oh, probably, yeah. Because he could, he.
But also, you got to think about the defenders he was playing against, too. They never saw this guy either. Like, they're like, oh my gosh. So,
yeah.
I think it was. Like, Gretzky came in and completely revolutionized the game, which is, like, admirable, and, like, he was great.
Yeah.
But by the time the league caught up to him, he was out of the league. Like, like the people that were watching him, like, the kids watching him, learning how to defend against Gretzky, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks in terms of, like, especially hockey guys, but, like, hockey goalies in the 80s, they weren't learning to stop that stuff, so.
Yeah.
But Gretzky, he was just great, so.
Yeah. There's not another name you could toss out that I'd be like, yeah, maybe, like, What's the Bob in hockey?
Bobby Hull? Oh, Bobby Orr?
That I think it's Bobby Orr.
Number 4 Bobby Orr, yeah. He was on the Bruins, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
He was a defenseman too, which is different, so.
Yeah, and there's always, a little bit of
the GOAT defenseman hurt.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah,
in my opinion and in your opinion. But,
yeah, very obviously.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky, there's not another name you could toss out, really.
No. So, let's move on. This is the last one I want to get in depth with, but there's a couple I want to caveat. MJ in basketball, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So, people are going to debate whether it's Michael Jordan or LeBron. I'm just saying Michael Jordan for the sake of this argument about bringing them to the current time, because LeBron currently plays in the current time, and he's really good still. I think MJ was great. I think MJ was fantastic. I don't think he wins as many titles and is as good as he is without a great supporting cast. I watched The Last Dance. And dude, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman were really good.
Oh, like, they're great. Yeah,
they were fantastic.
They're also on the list. Like,
yeah, though they're probably like Scottie Pippen's probably top 20. Yeah, I was gonna say
top 50. Yeah,
Scottie's definitely top 20 of all time. I'd say Dennis Rodman probably fits top 30, top 35 of all time.
I was gonna say top 50. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. If he's not in the top 50, someone did.
There's
that
a lot of
wrong,
old names too. Like you just gotta toss in
there. That's
true.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
like,
you know,
like
Will Chamberlain era. Like
Will Chamberlain's great. Yeah.
A lot of good people. Well, Will Chamberlain.
Bill Russell.
Will Chamberlain's probably top 3. Like 100% top 3.
If he's not, then something's wrong. So
yeah, just because what he did. But it's like
yeah. But anyway, let's keep it on Jordan.
So many. Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Good.
No, go. Finish it. Basketball is one of the hardest ones for me to determine because like I could put Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James all exactly equal in my mind personally.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like because of where they played.
Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, man. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like
no one's ever done that again.
Getting 80 points. Yeah, like
Kobe scored 81 points.
Yeah, when he got 80, it was like whoa. Like that's
I think
insane.
I think the highest that MJ ever scored was 69. Not that that takes away. He was Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. Yeah. He was a good leader. I think there was, but like, yeah. So MJ's the GOAT in this argument.
Yes.
But I don't think he wins 6 finals or, I still think he's debated as a GOAT. But if Pippen and, what's his, Rodman, sorry, aren't on his team, then I don't think he wins 6 finals. And I don't think he's as definitively said as the GOAT. But
I think.
Good.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I was
supposed
to.
I want you to talk.
I think I've recently been seeing a lot of highlights. I haven't seen The Last Dance, but really a lot of his highlights.
Yeah.
And his ball fakes are the one thing that I've noticed where it's like that alone, if he just knew how to do that, could get him in the league like right now. Like just palm the ball like whoop and then just pull it back.
Yeah.
And then everyone's done. Like you don't expect him to like just stop the ball in midair and bring it back and put it into the basket. Like
I like when he goes behind people's heads, like the Harlem Globetrotter stuff. Like he like throws it past their head and they turn and he's just gone by him. Yeah, it's sick. Yeah. I think MJ would be in the league, and I think he'd probably be like one of the best players in the league. Like same with kind of like Gretzky situation. But like if you put like prime MJ versus prime LeBron, like 1v1, I think LeBron wins it like 10 times out of 10, maybe 9 times out of 10. But like most of the time, LeBron's gonna win. I think you could debate that. I think
it's like 6 out of 10 times that MJ wins, in my opinion.
That MJ wins.
Yeah.
Really?
In their primes, yeah. I think like 1-on-1. I'm saying.
I think the NBA is so much more athletic than it was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
But you can't deny that he wasn't like a monster, like athletic.
He was sensational, but that's why he was so good. He looked like the same thing with Gretzky. When Gretzky came in, he revolutionized the league. When MJ came in, he revolutionized the thing.
Yeah.
Mailmen were playing like in the like NBA. Like I mean, like he was playing against like cardboard cutouts at some point. Like I mean, and not that like the NBA is full of like I mean, it's obviously the best players in the world, but it was at the time probably too. But they just weren't as good back then. I think
there's still definitely cardboard cutouts now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think basketball is one of the like biggest sports where like it's gotten so much better so quickly. Like I mean, like I just think it's so much more skilled now than it was like even 20 years ago. So
I can see that.
Yeah. So
I think that's why I think it's one of the hardest. That's what I started out with.
Yeah, but also I mean like LeBron, like you put him on a team with like, I mean he did take some dog crap teams to the finals, like the 07 Cavaliers and like
yeah.
But he needed like to win a championship. He went to the Heat and he won with D Wade and Chris Bosh, and then he like went to the like Cavaliers and Kyrie and Kevin Love. Like he couldn't do it without them. They were good players at the time. They're still good now. But then he went to the Lakers and got AD, and like it's like like he like everyone needs people. Basketball, like as much as they argue it's a solo sport in terms of like marketability and people like like the stars and all that. Yeah, the talent. It's like you can't win with just one really good player. Like Giannis on the Bucks, he's great. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know how to say his last name.
Not even gonna try.
I should have said Giannis. There's no other Giannis in the league that people are like, oh no, which one are you talking about? But anyway, he's on the Bucks and he like they always lose because they don't have great players. Like they don't always lose, but they always lose in the playoffs.
They don't Timberwolves dude. What's his name?
Karl-Anthony Towns.
Karl-Anthony Towns. He's pretty good. Really good. He could be on a supporting cast for LeBron. And that would be a championship team.
Yeah, if he was in the 80s position on the Lakers, they'd probably still win that finals last year, I think.
Yeah, but he has the worst team in the league, and he can't do anything. Like, he is literally out there alone playing against another 5-man team.
yeah. So what's your final thought on MJ playing? Like, do you think he would be? Where would he be in the league right now? Would he be as sensational as?
I think he's like Kevin Durant level if he played.
That's fair.
Right now, which it's a compliment.
Kevin Durant's top 3 in the NBA right now.
Yeah, top 3, maybe 2, behind.
Probably 2.
Who? Right behind who? Kawhi Leonard.
LeBron's probably still the best player in the NBA right now. Honestly, I don't
know. There's a lot of debate on that. I know right now.
If it's not LeBron, then it's cool. It's Kevin Durant or Steph. But Steph isn't in his prime anymore. Steph's top 5 right now. Yeah.
I'm talking about this year alone.
And then it's probably Nikola Jokic.
He was. I remember seeing a graphic on ESPN's Instagram, because they always post shit like that.
Yeah.
Where they just like put the top 5 of whatever sport, and they're like, "This is the top 5 right now." And it's like, that's what you think. Like, okay.
Yeah. Right.
But Jokic was like 5.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's really good. But
Doncic might be getting there, man.
He wasn't even on the list this year. He's not doing too well this year, comparatively.
Okay. He was like crazy in the bubble last year. Oh my gosh, he was good. Same with Jamal Murray. Anyway, let's not get too much.
I don't follow the NBA anymore, so this could have all changed in the past 3 weeks.
That's
I
fair.
have not watched a single game since then.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some other sports in terms of where the GOAT is either already playing or it's hard to judge because, like, but all of the people I have on the list are probably they're all playing right now. So football, it's probably Tom Brady. I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise. And football is such a team sport. Like, you saw how Tom Brady did on the 2019 Patriots when he had no one to throw to. Like, N'Keal Harry was his best receiver. Like, they did not do well. They still did really well because he's a good player. Like, I mean, they made the playoffs, but they lost in the first round. But we went to the Bucks and he had really good receivers and supporting talent, and they did great. You know,
they're gonna do great again because they didn't lose anyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, but he's definitely the GOAT. But it's just a matter of it's such a team sport. It's hard for just one person. You couldn't just put Tom Brady on a team of average people like the 2019 Patriots and have him win anything. You know, so
yeah. I think it's another situation where you were talking about earlier where you're like world champion type thing. Like, to be the GOAT, you gotta NFL is not really a sport in my opinion where you can be the greatest of all, the best in the NFL of all time.
Yeah.
But to be called the greatest of all time, it's there's a certain,
it doesn't mean as much as other sports.
Asterisks.
Yeah. It's hard. I think you go with the best and the most skilled at each position at that point, not the GOAT at each position, because not doing that. But anyway, so that's football. Soccer, I said Ronaldo. Could be that Pele guy who played on Brazil. I don't really know much about
Pele,
him,
but that's pretty much the only ones
I haven't seen
that I know of that are just names. Maradona would be another one that a lot of people like.
Messi could be probably up there, but I think Ronaldo's kind of overshadowed him as this century's best player. So
yeah,
I like Messi better though. But anyway, I don't watch a lot of soccer. Don't take my word.
I think Maradona is one of those innovator types, like Wayne Gretzky. If I know my soccer correctly,
I don't.
Because I know there is a trick named after him. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, it's where you spin on top of the ball or something like that. You just jump over, but it's
while you're moving. Yeah.
Yeah, his movement, I'm pretty sure, was his game, and that was where he excelled, from what I know.
Last one I want to talk about. Kill Matthew if he's incorrect about this. So,
yeah, please let me know.
Kill him. No, kill him. Women's tennis. Serena Williams. No, you can just say tennis if you want to, but I mean Serena Williams is amazing. So but both Williams sisters.
Yeah, agree.
It's hard to argue that. So I can't be she'd be great in this time.
She is Roger Federer is the only other one, but
yeah, I mean what's the other guy that was around with Federer? Nadal, Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, but he was always number 2 to him.
Yeah, it was always those two at the top though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Federer was
he
good.
Put up a fighting chance. It was interesting because they were 1 and 2 so close, but it never really. I don't know. It was like
Gretzky and Lemieux, kind of in the '90s when Mario Lemieux played for the Penguins and Gretzky played for the Kings. I think at that time, and they were always ooh, these two are playing each other tonight. It's but Gretzky we know who's the GOAT. It's it's still Gretzky. Yeah. And that's all I got. Do you have any other sports you can think of where I'm golf was the one.
Golf
Tiger
was
Woods,
when you mentioned
probably.
Earlier, yeah.
Phil Mickelson.
But I don't think you can. It'd be Tiger Woods, right?
Or Arnold Palmer. Either was the one I meant, not Phil Mickelson. But it's probably Tiger Woods.
Yeah. That's one of those sports again where it's can you argue Tiger Woods has been very consistently good, right?
Yeah.
But the sport itself doesn't really lend itself to extremes, you know?
Yeah.
You have to be extremely good at golf to be the GOAT.
Yeah, and like I don't think they've changed handicaps. Like I mean, like the courses is just the course. I don't think that changes too much. Like it's like, oh, you shoot like 67 on this course, you know. I think if you take like really good golfers from back in the day, they'd probably be about like the same as like Tiger Woods was in his prime. I mean, Tiger Woods was obviously the GOAT, but like if you take Tiger Woods in his prime, he's probably like still really good, probably better than everyone else. So.
Oh yeah.
So he's if you want to argue with me about this, it's probably Tiger Woods like is the best, but like. Golf is only so physical. It's still a lot. It's technical. It's skill.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I mean,
being consistently good is my big thing. It's like
you
play 18 holes and you have to be the best at every single hole.
Yeah, they tell you how good you should be, and you have to be better than that on every single hole. They're like most people can do it like this, and they're like, okay, be better than that.
A good player will get it at this try, but you have to get it at least 2 under those tries.
Right.
It's like okay, like damn, all right.
Yeah, Masters this weekend, by the way. I think right.
It already started. The first round was today.
Was it? I didn't watch any of it. No offense.
I think I didn't watch any of it, but I saw it on ESPN. Maybe it was yesterday.
Masters is fun because it's like the first couple the weekend of like the first weekend of spring is what I meant to say, and so like you just have it on the TV and you're just like laying there for 3 hours on a Sunday and you're like, yep, this is what my day is, you know.
Yeah, when I have time.
I'm not like gotta make time to watch the Masters this weekend.
Like I work tomorrow and then I have time. Still probably not going to turn it on at the end of the day.
Yeah, if it's like on the TV, it's like, I might sit down and watch this for an hour, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, did you want to talk any more about GOATs? Did you have any thoughts? I hope someone's tuning in just now, so they're like, you want to talk any more about GOATs? And they're like, hey, this is a GOAT episode.
The ones native to
Peru.
New Zealand are the coolest.
yeah, mountain goats are sick. Yeah. Anyway, no, for real though, did you have anything?
I don't have any other sports, but I just wanted to reiterate the GOAT classification problem that we have, where it's too many things are being called GOATs, where like even this conversation, I thought that some of the people that we talked about shouldn't be considered GOATs because of some of the other people that are in other sports. So like Tiger Woods, like we were talking about, I don't think he should be considered a GOAT. Like I think he was the best of all time in golf, but he's not the greatest of all time in general. You can't say the greatest of all time in golf because then he's the best of all time in golf, you know?
Okay, I got you.
So like only a select few people should get the GOAT title, and I think it's like you got to give it to the big player, like Michael Jordan, maybe. Like who else did we talk about? I can't even remember.
Tom Brady, Babe Ruth.
Tom Brady, man, no, I wouldn't.
Gretzky.
Give it to Tom Brady, I don't think.
No, yeah, it gets
Gretzky. Gretzky would be one.
Gretzky,
Michael Jordan
MJ.
would probably be another, in my opinion.
Might be it.
What other sports?
I think that might be. I think you have to transcend the sport. Like you literally have to change everything everyone's ever known about this sport. MJ came in, and everyone's like, "Who is this guy holding the ball like this and running past the defenders?" And like we need to look at.
He was young.
He was 84, and he's like just came out of college, and he was destroying people. And like Wayne Gretzky came in, and goalies are like, "What is this guy doing? Like I've never seen anyone do this before." So to be transcendental in your sport means you're a GOAT, I think. So
it's like Wayne Gretzky's goals and points are just like almost unreachable.
The stats that you say about Wayne Gretzky will never happen again. I'm convinced that no one will ever top so many of the stats that Wayne Gretzky did. His name is in the record books so many times. It's insane. Yeah.
The only one that's like close is Alex Ovechkin right now to the goals record, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
in terms of playing
personally,
right now,
I don't think he's making it.
Yeah.
He is very old.
So if you care about hockey, I think Wayne Gretzky has about 870 goals, right? 870 goals.
I forget. We looked this up like
we did. You look it up, I'll riff real quick. But yeah, Wayne Gretzky has about 870 goals, and Alex Ovechkin is about like 725, I think. So he's on his way. But like, if you score about 50 goals a season, like I mean, Ovechkin's old, but it's like even Wayne Gretzky has come out and said that like Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer because in this era to score as many goals as Ovechkin did in the ways that he has, like. He's insane. Someone may surpass that in the future, and I'm sure someone will, but no one will surpass the stats that Wayne Gretzky has and just the way he changed hockey, I don't think.
Yeah, so Wayne Gretzky had 894 total goals.
I want him to
So 900. He had 900.
Yeah, about.
Basically.
Yeah.
So Alex Ovechkin needs a lot more. Another insane one, assists. He had basically 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they celebrated Nicholas Backstrom getting 700 a while ago. I think he's
older.
900 now. But he's almost done. Nicholas Backstrom's almost done. And Wayne Gretzky has much more than double what Nicholas Backstrom has.
Yeah, right.
And it's just like, wow, that is insane to think that he had even enough time to pass it to players that scored goals. Like, while he was scoring that many goals.
I also saw another thing about Gretzky where I'm not going to get this number exactly right. It's a little over the number 1,300, but if Gretzky had stopped scoring completely, like passing, I think assist and goals, if he had stopped with 1,300 games left in his career, which is about like, I think it was like 11 years, if he just stopped playing but he was still in those games, he would have still averaged a point per game for his career. Isn't that so insane?
There's so many insane stats that
like no one will ever get there. Anyway, this episode's getting kind of long. I don't know if people want to hear about sports goods for this long. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for listening. We've been the Brothers Whim. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Brothers Whim. You can go on YouTube and find us if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. If you want to watch our video, go to YouTube, look for the Brothers Whim podcast, subscribe, like, share, do whatever you want to. Share it with people. We love, having more people listen, feedback from people. It's great. We're very thankful for you guys that listen and tune in. Even if it's just 1 or 2 episodes, we appreciate you. We're glad that you come out and listen, and it means a lot to us. So
definitely check out the game show episode.
Oh yeah, last week's episode was so much fun. I think you guys would like that a lot. If you like game shows or music or both or none of it, I think you'll still like it. So I've been Ian, and this is my brother Matt. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.